Hi there. Someone sent you this video for a reason. Or you didn't send this video yet, but you will. You will. Because this is a guide to Dan and Phil. That rhymed. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm here to take you through a little tour of Dan and Phil. This video was probably sent to a mother, a father, a grandfather, a grandmother, brother, sister, friend, cousin, great uncle, Uncle Chaz, whoever you sent this video to. This was sent to you for a reason, or you're watching this for a reason, most likely because Dan and Phil is in the title, but that's not the point. I'm here to take you into the reasons why people like Dan and Phil. What's the big deal with Dan and Phil? What do I do? What videos do I watch for Dan and Phil? I have no idea what's going on. I'm just watching this child, or whoever in your life, just obsessed with these two British guys with haircuts that go different ways, and what? I'm here to help. So let's start. Dan Howell and Phil Lester are two British guys who have weird haircuts. That's not the point. They have been talk show hosts, hosts of a radio show, have YouTube channels, separate ones and a combined one. They've been featured in short films, have their own short films, and have 2 books written. Phil Lester put his first video out in 2006. His video was a video blog in black and white from a camera he'd won in a contest sort of thing. And he inspired Dan Howell to create a video and put it on the internet in 2009. And the whole thing with Dan and Phil and how they met is Dan was a huge fan of Phil. Like YouTube wasn't a big thing. It wasn't. And so Dan watched Phil's videos before it was cool, and he was a hipster. So that's how they met. Dan just continuously was tweeting Phil until Phil noticed him and was like, wow, you watch my videos. That's pretty cool. And so Pin-Off 1 was born. Pin-Off, Phil is Not on Fire, is a series of videos Dan and Phil make together each year to commemorate the first video. The first video was made in 2009, and it was their first general video together where it was like this big thing. And they've made the video every year as a tradition, sort of. So if you see people with little cat whiskers on their face supporting Dan and Phil, that's where that comes from. They wear cat whiskers in those videos. They wear cat whiskers because Phil received a question on the first video that goes, why do you wear cat whiskers all the time? And Phil's like, I don't. So obviously to hit the irony of the question, they put on cat whiskers after the question was asked. So that's where the cat whiskers come from. The whole big thing with Dan and Phil is people in this community have watched them grow, literally, from 2006 to 2016. Well, now it's 2016. I don't know what you're watching this in. Hi, 2020 people. Comment if you're in 2020! But the whole big thing with Dan and Phil is that all these people have watched them grow into being these small little YouTubers that barely had any subscribers, to these people that have a stage show and have traveled all across the world and have done so much. So that's the big thing. Now we're going to get into what Dan and Phil have done. So, run to my bookshelf here. Dan and Phil have created 2 books. The first book, the amazing book, is Not on Fire, Cat-and-Off for short. This book contains all of Dan and Phil condensed into some pages. Inside this book is information about them you never knew, like reasons why Phil was a weird kid, or Phil's hamster breeding page. Long story. There's some comics in here, there's some photo shoots, college experiences, weird birth stories coming from their mothers. But it's kind of just this thing that fans can hold and keep and remember that they've watched these people, because maybe one day I will grow out of them, and maybe one day I won't watch their YouTube videos, if however long they make YouTube videos. So this is something to remember them by, something to keep and hold forever. After this book was put out, Dan and Phil said that they were going onto a stage show across the world. They started in England, and they went to America, and they went to Australia, and they went to all these places. And it actually recently ended, but they took this stage show, and they made it into another book. This book is Dan and Phil Go Outside. I relate to them on so many levels, and so does more than half their audience. The whole big thing is that they actually did this. They went outside, they made a book, and they performed a stage show all around the world. And so they wanted to highlight this big achievement that they've done by putting it through a photo book and told little stories throughout it. about their adventures on the outside world. So that's this book, Dan and Phil Go Outside. Go. Dan and Phil have created 2 short films based off of Tatanoff. First one was the actual show, the actual stage show. And if you, parent, Uncle Carrie, whoever the hell is watching this, saw your friend, saw your child, saw your nephew, cousin, whoever, go to this show, it was a big thing. It was huge. Because actual Dan and Phil were on stage in front of you performing a show. Imagine if Brad Pitt just one day tweeted out and said, "Hey, I'm going on a tour across the world, come see me and show." What the hell would he be doing? That's what we thought of Dan and Phil. What the hell would they be doing? They make YouTube videos. They sit in front of a screen just like I am right now and talk about weird life experiences, challenges, whatever the hell they want to do. What the hell would Bradley Pitt do? Practice his acting skills on a stage for an hour and a half? That was exactly the wonder of Tatanoff. Dan and Phil made their fans promise not to say anything about the show. Of course, not everyone listened, but generally, when I went to the show in New York, I had no idea what was going to happen. And when I saw that, I was so surprised because I didn't know how they managed to take everything they are and put it on a stage and then perform a song, which is a whole nother thing, and I did a cover of it. It was fun. But the whole big thing is that Dan and Phil, these 2 British boys who've grown up on the internet, have actually traveled across the world, created 2 books, 2 films, a stage show, and actually did that. Dan and Phil happen to be amazing at connecting with their fans. There's this whole big thing about notices. Notices are where a celebrity, for say Dan and Phil. Hi, Dan and Phil. This video is about Dan and Phil. Phil tweeted me and said my singing was lovely once, which made my entire life. But the fact that this whole big celebrity decided to just click and say, "Hi, what's up? Like, how are you? I know you exist. What's up? How are you?" That's what it's like. A lot of celebrities aren't as down to earth as Dan and Phil are. And as someone who watches them, I wouldn't even consider them celebrities, which isn't supposed to be taken to offense. It's just that they're so connected with the people that support them that it's like they're part of the community instead of above and everyone else is just here watching them. It's like they're hand in hand with the people that watch them, which is something that I think a lot of celebrities or people on the internet, icons, whatever, take no time to achieve. And Dan and Phil have achieved it because we are Dan and Phil. I'm making videos and putting them online because of these 2 British guys. I'm making videos because I can be them. If they can do that, if Phil can start filming videos in 2006 and be on a stage show in Germany, I can do that. They've made me have so much confidence in who I am that I feel like I could do absolutely anything. Knowing that Phil, some like emo kid with a weird haircut, made a video on a black and white camera in 2006 and now lives with his best friend and makes YouTube videos and gains money from doing things he loves. I want to do that. He's inspired me to do something I want to do and actually have confidence in something I want to do. If you're the person watching this that is inspired by Dan and Phil or some uncle, aunt, whoever, that their child or their nephew, whatever, watches them, I hope that they give them the same thing they gave me. Because Dan and Phil are absolutely amazing. And I'm not going to get even more soppy than I am right now. I'm pretty soppy about this. Because they've actually made me who I am. And I'm so happy that I've watched their videos. But that is not the point. We're talking through a guide of Dan and Phil. So, since Dan and Phil have such a giant fan base, Dan and Phil has become fan. Fan is a short for a romantic relationship, popularized in fan fiction circles. Fan fiction is where people who are fans or supporters or whatever you want to call it of 2 certain people, or a group if that's what they're into. That's not the point. Taking Dan and Phil and making it fan is just taking Dan and Phil, making them a single name. So if you hear your child, friend, aunt, uncle, whoever, say fan is OTP, meaning Dan and Phil together in a relationship is a cute couple or a one true pairing. People that you want to be in a relationship. Fan fiction is taking this OTP or side characters or whatever and putting them in any situation you would want to put them in. So say Chandler Bing and Monica from Friends are OTP, and someone decides one day, you know what, I want to write a fan fiction where Chandler and Monica go to a beach house in Orlando and they just have a really nice time. That could be a fan fiction. They could publish that on the internet and who knows, it could become a novel. It has happened before. Not specifically that, but fanfictions have become actual best-selling books. Dan and Phil have starred in many things. They've been BBC radio talk show hosts. They've been talk show hosts of actual, like, shows, like big shows, like award shows. They've been in short films, most by their friend PJ. Ah, adorable, I love you. Mwah. Anyway, Dan and Phil have a lot happening. And they've done so much. They actually recently were in The Lion Guard, which is a Disney spin-off show of The Lion King. They did an appearance in Big Hero 6, which is another Disney movie, as Operator 1, Operator 2 in the British version. Dan and Phil also have merchandise. I mean, literally every celebrity does. You can always find a t-shirt with Ryan Gosling on it. There will never not be a t-shirt with Ryan Gosling on it. That's just how it is. So it makes sense that internet celebrities would have merchandise. Their merchandise can be found on danandphilshop.com. Dan and Phil Shop, US, whatever, wherever you're from. I don't know where you're from. Indiana, cool. Anyway, merchandise related things could be this hat. This hat could be classified as cringy. Cringy, you may ask? Why? It's a cute little llama hat. Well, Dan and Phil have an old branding where Dan likes llamas, Phil likes lions. It's just a thing that exists. Here's Dan in this hat, Phil in his lion hat. It's just a thing that happened. Personally, I don't wear this outside. It's just kind of to have some memory of the branding. You'll never see me wear this, but it's just like a cute little memory to have, and it's soft, so. And my personal favorite, sweaters, sweatshirts, whatever you call them. Adorable. Correct? See. Wow, Dan and Phil, it's their haircuts. Cool. Dan and Phil, merch. Cool. You can also buy their book or whatever. I'm not advertising for them. I wish I was, but I'm not. It's just if you're a parent looking for some Christmas presents or some Hanukkah presents, Kwanzaa presents, birthday presents, Thanksgiving something presents, danandphilshop.com. You're welcome. Dan and Phil have created this huge community full of people that love and support them, and we love and support them together. And of course, as there always will be, there will be conflicts. There will be people that have disagreeing opinions, Trump supporters, Hillary supporters, whatever. In the fandom, we all can agree that Dan and Phil are great. Dan and Phil have done a lot, and Dan and Phil are great humans. So, we have that. This community has led me to meet many friends. I think that's amazing that they're bringing people together. I met my very best friend because of Dan and Phil. I don't know how more amazing that could be. Dan and Phil have put a huge impact on my life, and whoever you sent this to or whoever is watching this, I hope you understand how they can make an impact on someone's life. Watching two people grow and thinking I could be and I am just like them is kind of an amazing thing. Share this video with people that you think should know about Dan and Phil or need a little help. As always, I will see you next Wednesday. In my caption down below, I have their channels linked. Dan's channel, Phil's channel, good first video, so start up theirs, Dan and Phil Shop. I am not sponsored by them, even though I wish I was, or whatever, I wish they knew I existed, but that is not the point. The point is that I hope this video has helped you, or your significant other, or family member, whoever you sent this video to, or whoever watched this video, help you figure out why Dan and Phil are pretty great. I will see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye!